What is up, my beautiful people? Welcome to another episode of the Be Original Show. My name is Kevin Oriel, aka DJ KO Yo, and today we have an indie rock band that not only has fantastic vocals and harmony, but changes the game with their instrumentation. Indie rock usually features guitar as the leading instrument, but on the contrary, this band's bass guitar and keyboards are up front, while the rhythm guitars and drums hold down the rhythm. We are excited to have the band happy to be here in the studio, and we'll be taking a deep dive into their story and their music. But first, let's listen to Nature Song right here on the Be Original Show exclusively on WBDY, the Bundy Museum Community Radio Show. Well, thanks for coming to the studio. Why don't you go around the room and tell us your name and what you play?
I'm Sonnie, and I play bass.
I'm Lily, I sing and I play the guitar.
I'm Ryan, and I play drums.
And there's someone missing, yeah?
Yes, our dearly beloved Charlie.
We
slash
actually
Ty.
we left a seat there. Right here.
That's the little space for him. We have, for those listeners, we have a couch, a little love couch, and we're missing you. What's his name?
Charlie.
Charlie, we're missing you, Charlie. Anyway, how did the band come together?
Oh.
I'm taking this?
Yeah, take it.
So, we started a few years ago now. It was on campus. We're Binghamton University students.
Fall 2021.
Yeah. And I showed up in my first semester in Binghamton, and I went to a little jam sesh
On campus.
Mountain View Jams, and I saw Sonnie and Charlie playing together, but they didn't have any drums, and I played drums, and I was like, it would be cool if I joined a band or whatever. So I talked to them, and they were like, sure, we're looking for a drummer, and that was very quick how that all worked out. And then just a little while later, Lily...
Yeah, it was your guys, one of your guys' first shows, or the first show, or something like that. Charlie got really sick, and so it was 2 or 3 days before the show. Sonnie, who I've known since freshman year of college, texted me and was like, hey, can you please fill in for Charlie? So I had to learn all these songs in 3 days, all the lyrics, and the guitar parts, and then they just never let me go.
Now, were you doing covers or were you doing originals?
Mostly covers at the time.
Yeah, mostly covers.
Because I was going to say that would have been very difficult to kind of learn original songs in 3 days.
Yeah.
No, I can't imagine.
So are you all music students or are you doing other things?
I'm the only fully music major, and I have a minor in education. Charlie is a double major in psych and music. And then Ryan has almost everything he needed for a music minor.
I'm a music minor.
You are a music minor?
Yeah.
Okay. He's a music minor.
I'm
and
only
Sonnie's
fully
not.
just not. It's funny too because everyone I'm not a music major or minor, and I have no formal musical education.
Yeah.
So I kind of just keep it up.
No jazz studies?
I wish. My jazz studies is mostly spending just a lot of time playing with people. I can't read sheet music or anything. It's just a lot of playing and sitting in dark rooms practicing scales for hours, and then.
That is amazing because you've taken the bass in this band to the next level. It's almost like lead bass.
Yeah.
I kind of. It's fun playing that musical role because we don't have a lead guitarist per se. So I people think that bass is a really restrictive instrument, but it's actually the most freeing because you can kind of float through the chord progression, and as long as you're kind of keeping a groove, you can do whatever. So my main inspirations are a lot of jazz artists like Jaco Pastorius and other jazz bassists that have that lead element to it, but also are able to kind of center themselves and hold things down. So.
When I was listening to your tracks, I definitely heard the Jaco influence. There's one song where you use harmonics in it. It's really beautiful. It kind of reminded me of Portraits of Tracy, and I heard that I was like, wow, this is great. Someone's actually using, because he did that solo, and now you're using it within the band, so you've incorporated it into the music, and it fits really, really well.
Yeah, there's this like infinite potential for like texture in the bass, because like the way you interact with the bass, I think is so important when you play it, because like so much of the tone of it comes from literally just the way that you hold it. Like I was talking to the bassist of another local band, Manila, and he said something that about the bass that I always thought was so interesting, which is like the very fact that it's so big forces every bassist to have a really unique relationship and technique to it, because it's such a cumbersome thing to hold. So like you have to very much like there's no right way to do it. So like, you know, people's almost like personality with the instrument develops around that tone and texture, and you know, just having to carry this massive thing.
And when you're creating your bass lines, are you thinking about the melodies? Because Lily, you're singing, but Sonnie, are you doing backup vocals? Is it between you?
No, usually.
How do you parse out the vocals in the band?
I mean, when we first started, it was pretty equal between Charlie and I, like singing the main melody and then the other person doing harmonies. And then eventually Charlie took a hiatus and I kind of just completely took over vocals. Sometimes Sonnie would like chip in, like sing it with me. Ryan too has had songs where he's on the drums singing like a harmony. You
That's
know,
pretty
Beach
incredible.
Boys.
The fewest.
For good
reason.
But I think it's really interesting hearing Sonnie's bass lines, especially in Nature Song, because during a rehearsal or a practice one time, they were like, sing the chorus. I want to be able to play a harmony of the chorus where I'm doing that like arpeggiation, like going all the way up and then all the way back down. And they were like, I want to be able to play like the third or like the sixth. And so I think that, I don't know, there's a lot of
moments where we'll like sing that again. Where I'll try to kind of like harmonize with what you're doing, because it sounds cool. It's also just like really fun to play. Like it's fun to like, okay, like for me everything is based in like outlining a chord. So like in your lyricism you're outlining this chord, so I can just like outline it with you. Mm-hmm. And then it's fun because then sometimes it'll be almost like call and response-y, where like I'll do the thing that I normally do and you like kind of weave around it. Mm-hmm. So it's like these like two vines intertwining.
Let's play a song. I want to continue talking about the process of how you write music. Tell us a little bit about Come and Dance and the live recording that you did here at the Bundy.
Well, Come and Dance is actually a Charlie song, and I wish that he could be here to talk about his inspiration behind it. I know when he brought it to us, we were all excited because it's just so like groovy, unadulteratedly fun. It was just like, oh, this is just a fun, poppy, happy song about dancing, and I don't know, so it was super fun to play, but yeah, I don't know any of his inspiration behind that song.
we have our dancey songs, and we have our crying songs, and I love to play a dancey song.
Yeah, we have to have a couple of them.
Yeah,
to not have such a sad set.
It's one of my favorite songs to play. Like it's just so like bouncy, and I'm just always playing something. But it's really fun to like. It has all these like little stops that it's fun to like, I don't know, build something into. And also like there's like a really kind of like quiet poetry to the lyrics, where like. I never thought like the phrase like "I'd love to turn you on" would be such like a wholesome and like warm thing to like hear out of a song, but it's like I love the lyrics are just like very goofy in like a quietly sentimental way.
Yeah, and I think the chord progression is also really interesting because he just uses a lot of like only major and chromatics, and so playing it is just like 1/5, and then you change key 1/5, change key 1/5. And he does that in so many songs because he's such a Beach Boys nerd. Yeah.
Well, if it was good enough for Bach back in the day, it's good enough for Happy to be here. All right, let's listen to Come and Dance right here on the Be Original Show, WBDY 99.5 FM. All right, that was Come and Dance by Happy to be here. Let's talk a little bit about the songwriting process. You were talking before in the break how you kind of review the parts and sing that again, and I want to play this again. And how do the songs happen for the band?
I think it depends on the person bringing the songs. So I feel like with Ryan and Sonnie, it would be very frequently where they would bring like an idea or a song or a chord progression, and then it would kind of like build from there all as a group. And then on the other hand, Charlie and I were more of the people like we would fully write a song and then bring it to the band and like basically teach it and just be like, Ryan, you come up with whatever drum part you think sounds good. Sonnie, you come up with whatever bass part sounds good. And it was a lot of just like, I have a fully fledged, like all the lyrics, what I want it to sound like, but I also want you guys as the musicians of your instrument to give me any information you can of like how you think you could make it better, and then we can play it all as a whole.
And where do you get your inspiration? And just quickly listening into the music, I think there's some humor in it, and there's a little bit of darkness in there. Where do you get your inspiration from?
I would just say like my life. It's interesting because I've always said I will write songs that are completely made up. So for example, we have a song called Cape Cod, where I say like specific details of this like relationship or like these postcards, and that never happened. Like that was not real. And it's just sometimes it's easier to write about things that aren't real, and you can just like have fun with a little story. And then there are other times where it's like you write Velcro and you're like, oh, I'm just having an awful time.
We need to talk about that one when we play that.
Write this. And with Spaceship, it was kind of in between. It was like, I genuinely was just really happy. And I was like excited, and I was like, oh my God, this is such a fun time in college. And then it was also like, obviously, I'm not going on any spaceship. Like,
but it's such a cool. It's got a great kind of 70s R&B feel, and then it becomes like this fun indie rock vibe. It's a very cool track.
It's very fun to play. It's one of my favorites, and I think it's one of the most like when I brought it to Happy to Be Here, I was like, oh, this is just a Happy to Be Here song.
I remember very distinctly the day that we like put it all together, because we used to practice in this just like really cramped room that like wasn't even our own practice.
Non-disclosed room.
Non-disclosed.
Incriminating.
Yeah, that we were totally allowed to be in. And I had a really like bad fight with my partner at that time, and it was a blizzard. I was walking across campus in a blizzard. I'm blasting Death Grips at like the loudest possible volume in my headphones, and I'm just so pissed. And I like walk in, and everybody's there, and it's warm, and people are laughing, and I kind of like unwind, and we write this song, because originally we just had the kind of R&B part, like the kind of like chilled out part, and we kind of just all decided like we have this thing. What do we want to do with it? So like this kind of stopping part was I think me and Ryan both had the same musical idea, but from like different influences. Like I was listening to like Black Midi, and there's this song like John L that has that like da 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 part that I think sounds really cool. And you were probably thinking of like Corey Wong or Wolfpack, and
I feel like okay, all right now.
but it all like it's like from different influences. It all like kind of came together, and then like. So like sometimes you write a song and you're like, oh cool, we wrote a song, and then sometimes you write a song where you're like, oh this is something special, like something was made here, and like I think I remember coming home from that, like realizing that there was something real there.
Yeah. Our best songs come from, I think, like no amount of forcefulness through it. Like there's songs that were like, we have like this idea, we should really, start throwing out some more stuff. But then there's the songs where like, we don't need another song. And there's often times where we're like, we really shouldn't be making another song right now. But it's like, it's too good so not to work out. And those are the ones I also have the most fun, figuring out.
Same,
Nice. Great. Let's check out Spaceship right here on the Be Original Show, WBDY.
You fall like
If you're just joining us, we are in the studio with Happy to Be Here. So that was the happy song, very positive, upbeat. Let's talk about Velcro. It sounds. Is it a breakup song, or is it that this all just sucks right now?
Velcro was a very interesting, come to be, because I actually wrote it with one of all of our friends. Their name is Andrew. And I was just hanging out with him and another one of our friends, and they showed me a guitar part, and I was like, oh, I can make that way easier. The way they were playing it was so despicable. I was awful. And so I stole it with their permission, and I changed it around, and then I wrote lyrics to it, and it's actually, for all the guitar weirdos out there, it's in DADGBD.
Ah, nice tuning.
Yeah, so I had to completely change the tuning to just this made up tuning. Oh no, it's not that, it's DADABD, I think. Dadabd. And so it's just a crazy open DA type of sound. And then I kind of just started writing it, and I don't know, I was just sad. And that whole semester I was so depressed, and it was spring, and the only thing that I really wanted to do was play with the band and play with Andrew, and so I don't know, I think I was proud of the verses, and then the chorus I was just this is what we get in life, you know.
What's that line that's something like you said that some people don't deserve to be loved, or what's the line?
Some people aren't worth loving.
Oh, that's just like a stab right through the heart.
Yeah, imagine how I was feeling. I'm gonna wrote it.
I was like, oh my goodness, the pain, the anguish. This is a great song.
I think my favorite line from the song, if I can even remember it right now, but it's I would have slept in your jeans. I would have done the most uncomfortable things. I'm your hot glued acolyte, you know? You feel so stuck to worshiping, and you know, sometimes you just need to write it all out, and just there's another line similar to that is the oh god, if I can, it's in the first verse, and it's Velcro seatbelt suicide, and it's this realization of I am locking myself into something that I could get out of, I could just, but I'm gonna wait until the car crashes, and then I'm gonna die, and I'm kind of doing it to myself, and I'm feigning this protection by being well, I have my seatbelt on, but it's not, you're not doing anything, and eventually you just need to rip the Band-Aid and live your life.
It's funny, I took the I would sleep inside your jeans metaphor, at least in my head, in a different way. Because in a couple of your songs you use that metaphor of sleeping in someone's clothes as a kind of sign of warmth, and but a parasitic warmth, a warmth where you're conjoined, but it has its warm moments and its yearning moments, but it also has its deeply uncomfortable and painful moments.
Yeah, in Feeble I say I would let you wear my skin, I would give you all my hair, I would do anything, and it's but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Why the sample with all the people in the beginning?
Oh, we just thought it was cool. We were at a party, and we were what if this was the beginning and the end of the song? And then
the best part is the person in the
Paul.
back.
It's
is this for Happy to Be Here?
It's my friend Paul Chesley. We were at a party, and I just under my shirt was just recording. So they didn't know, and Paul was I can see that. Is this for Happy to Be Here? And then it cuts, and then the song comes in, and
that's great.
It's so funny.
Let's check that out. Let's check out the track Velcro right here on the Be Original show. So where was where we are what are we doing here? Where was that recorded?
That was recorded at Abandoned Studios.
Okay, with
by our friend
Mike.
Misha.
Yeah, Misha, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, awesome. Did you do it all in one day? Like, how was the recording process for you?
It took 2 days, and
It was like 10 hours.
No, it was 3 days because there was one day.
Oh, well,
where
you
all
went
of
in.
you went in.
without all of you all
Yeah.
went without me because that weekend I was at a debate tournament. So I literally left that debate tournament and then like immediately Ryan drove me to the studio to do some overdubs, and then we did one day where we played all together where we did Nature Song and Midnight Swim.
Oh, yeah.
So talk a little bit about your new recording that's coming out.
Sure. So this is at Nuclear Studios with our friend Jeff, the guy who has the studio. And it's just, since we're kind of at the end of our tale here, we wanted to get out our last couple of songs that we didn't get a chance to record. Particularly one of mine, just because it was like one of the only songs that I really wrote that like really stuck around for us, and I wanted to get it out there before we ended and stuff. But then we have another song, so we had a little bonus.
Because in my head, we were going to release Ryan's song as just like a single, because I was really busy this semester, and I was like, I think I want to kind of like do way less with the band. I got to focus on graduating and doing this show and blah, blah, blah. But I was like, I still really I need to record this song. Like, I love it so much.
What are the two songs that are going to be on the not EP? I get EP. It's not extended.
A mini EP.
Yeah, it's a song Lily wrote.
It's like a nice B-side.
I wrote this song called Cities, which was like my most recent like successful attempt to not write a song about a breakup. And then Ryan's song, Car 2, which is just like the most baller. Like, I love this song so much. Sorry to be like,
Thank you.
sorry.
That's so nice.
No,
and
I
on
love
the radio.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I
is-
love this song. It's so fun to play and it's so fun to sing. And like, even when you know the song, even when you sing the song, just listening to it, you're just like, it's like you're surprised every time. Like, oh wow, this is so fun. Like,
So the band is going their separate ways.
Yes.
So this is going to be this Saturday is going to be your final show.
This
Friday.
Friday.
Yes.
What is the date on that? Is that the
26th.
The 26th. So everyone out there, you need to get yourselves to the Annex here for Happy to Be Here's last show for sure. Let's play Feeble Little Girl. Talk a little bit about that.
Feeble was another song that I wrote with Andrew. He was in the Breakfast Beers. So this was a band that used to be in Bing. And they played at the Bundy as well. They actually played, I'm pretty sure they played at our Bundy show.
During the live album?
Yeah. They played there. And I remember I was at Andrew's house all the time when these songs were being written. And they were just so supportive of like me trying different things. There is a version of this song where I hit like a C6 because I just like went up and he was like, "This is the coolest thing I've ever heard." And I was like, Andrew is like one of the most supportive people, so positive, so happy, and there was one time we had a show a while ago where Andrew came up to see it, and I was playing and I was like, oh, I missed playing for Andrew. Nobody else. I missed playing for Andrew because like they know all the words and they're singing along and they're so fun. But this was another thing like Velcro where I was just not having a great time. And they were just so like supportive and happy and listened to me complain about everything all the time. And so I started writing this, and it was almost like I wanted to write it because like I wanted to give Andrew something back of like all of your kindness and all of your empathy. Like what do I have to give you other than like music that I can show you, like, this is what you have pushed me to do. And it's a very sad song, and I'm sorry. But I think when I was writing it, I just wanted to experiment with like how poetic can I get, how metaphorical can I be, like jump the gorge, you were more than I thought I was looking for, blah blah blah, let me be this, and like if my eyes were beautiful, I would be who you were looking for. And it's just all of this like kind of like self-insecure, just like, I think at the end of the day I was not very happy with myself, and so I wrote it and I was like, I blame everything on this other person or like these other people, on something else. Like there's always someone to blame in the lyrics, and it's like, honestly, girl, I would do some digging and be like, maybe stop giving your like eyeballs and skin to people. Maybe like take a second, breathe. Like, I'm sure they're a nice person, just chill. And so now that's where I am now. So this 2-year-old song had some crazy stuff going on.
I think people can totally identify with that. Let's listen to Feeble Little Girl. Shout out to Andrew right here on The Original, WBDY 99.5 FM. We are in the studio with Happy to Be Here. So this is going to be the last show this weekend. When you look back at this time of your lives and this band and this moment, what do you think are your favorite memories?
I
have a bad memory.
There's favorites, silly.
No, I can't remember.
You can only remember the bad.
You guys go.
Okay. I think one of my favorite memories, we were actually talking about this earlier, was making Spaceship. That was just like, to be a fly on the wall in that little closet that we wrote it in. Just very good, immaculate vibes. I think another one that we haven't spoken about really is like, for me at least, recording. Just because as a drummer, it's tough to be in a small local band, and like, you don't really get to hear how you sound aside from like through, ear protection or like a really not very high quality iPhone in the back of the venue. So you don't really get to hear that until, you sit down and get some, all 20 mics that it needs on a drum set, and you're like, oh man, like, it's rewarding.
I think for me, definitely playing live. Like, Happy to Be Here shows are like really fun because we all know the songs really, really well. Mm-hmm. So there's just like a lot of improvisation that happens. So like, they're just like I remember this one moment when we were playing Dubé, and like we had never rehearsed this before, but like everybody cuts out but me and you. And it just becomes this like bass and drum solo that like flowed perfectly. And it was just this like moment of just being like totally locked as musicians, and like something just this like creative burst happens. And I've loved the really bad shows as well, because I feel like we've had a lot of stinkers.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of shows where it's like technology fails us or something like that, and then you kind of just like figure something out. Like that experience of like playing live and just like seeing where that gets you, and then you kind of end and you remember none of it, but like in that moment you were doing something magical that's kind of indescribable that I guess other people liked.
What about you, Lily? What do you think you'll remember?
I think I'll remember just like going to basement shows. I just met so many people and so many other bands through being in somebody's weird basement with like the twinkle lights and playing songs, and it's super late and you feel so just like special and connected to people who love music. And I've made some like very, very lifelong friends through just going to these shows and jamming later. And like I met you guys, and that has been just like such a wonderful part of college. And I like, especially in the later shows when we would play and people would start singing along to our songs and like Cape Cod and Nature Song, and it's just this very weird feeling of like I put something into the world that is now in other people's minds. Like they liked it so much they spent time to memorize it. Like they've listened to it so much that it's ingrained in their head as much as it was when I was like writing it out. And I don't know, I think I'll just, if nothing else, I'm definitely gonna miss being able to do that, you know, with the people that I have met here. And yeah, okay.
Well, wherever you go, all of you are very, very talented, and I'm sure you're going to continue making music as you go along your way. Definitely stay in touch. Send us your tracks, and we'll play them on WBDY. Thank you so much for coming down and spending time. It was really wonderful to meet you, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This has been wonderful. Again, I walked through the forest. My only friends were the frogs in the